Hello everyone, and now let's have our orientation in our subject EED 1. You know what? EED 1 is your first major subject as a BEd student or B Bachelor of Elementary Education student. That is why let's know the nature of this subject. I know some of you are quite excited in having this subject, but sada lang sa. Okay, so EED 1, the course title for this one is Teaching Science in the Primary Grades, Biology and Chemistry. I know all of us, we already know the nature of science. When we talk about science, it is the systematic body of knowledge. And now let me define first what is biology and chemistry. When we talk about biology, it is the what? The study of life. And chemistry, it is the study of matter. Okay? And of course, let me welcome you all. Welcome first year students. Of course, BEd students. And now let me introduce first myself. I know some of you hindi pa ako kilala. So let me introduce first myself. By the way, I am Mark John M. Martinez. You may call me Sir Mark. Di ko masugot nga tawagon kong Sir Martinez or Sir John. Just Sir Mark. And I'm 22 years old. My current address, or I'm currently residing at Bunawan, Agusan del Sur. You may contact me on my contact or on my cell phone number 09123144 And of course, my email account mjmartinez at ascat.edu.ph. Make sure that you will use your G Suite account. And baccalaureate degree, Bachelor of Elementary Education. That is why somehow medyo makarelate good ko because my undergrad is BEd rin. So let's know the nature of this subject. That is why we have this course description. This course includes understanding of spiraling basic science concepts and application of science inquiry in chemistry and biology and the use of teaching strategies in elementary science, development of instructional materials, and assessment. So here in our subject, of course, with K-12 curriculum, it is what? The best example of spiral approach by Jerome Bruner. That is why in our subject, part of our subject, we will be studying about the nature of or the framework of the K-12 curriculum. And of course, aside from knowing the contents of biology and chemistry, we will also know how to teach these subjects in elementary. So the content topics in chemistry include property and structure of matter and changes that matter that undergo. In biology, content topics includes parts and functions of animals and plants, heredity, inheritance and variation, biodiversity and evolution and ecosystems. So of course, we will focus more on matter when it comes to chemistry, and in biology it centers on human being, parts of the plant as plants rather, and of course animals. So I did not include the biodiversity, evolution, and ecosystem in our subject because there's a separate subject wherein you could tackle that one. And of course, to give enough time to the other topics in our subject, most especially to the strategies, approaches that I will be teaching to you. So what to expect in our subject? First, introduction of science teaching in the primary grades, as what I have said earlier, that we will discuss the K-12 curriculum. You know what K-12 curriculum it is in accord with the Republic Act 10533 or also known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. So number 2, contents of chemistry as well as biology. And of course, science pedagogy. When we talk about pedagogy, it is the art of teaching. It includes teaching approaches, strategies, methods, and techniques. So later on in our subject, we will differentiate the approach, strategies, methods, as well as techniques. And of course, assessment strategies. It is not enough that we know how to teach science, but of course, we should know how to evaluate the science learning of our students. And of course, IMs making or instructional materials making. So I'll be giving that in advance to you because it is in the form of, or it is in PowerPoint, or it should be in a PowerPoint presentation. And of course, lesson planning. You will now know how to make lesson plan and virtual demo teaching. So I am planning that this virtual demo teaching should be group or individual. Tignan natin. And of course, for our grading system, most especially to those students who were not able to attend the orientation. So, always bear into your mind that we have accuracy, quality, and timeliness of your output. That is why here in college, we have two terms, the middle term and the final term. So in midterm, you will have a grade, but only 40% lang yung kukunin natin. And of course, 60% for final grade. And now, of course, what will be the criteria in giving you grades per term? So for your outputs, it comprise 60%. And of course, your examinations, midterm as well as final, 40%. By the way, even though you choose online or modular, you will all have midterm as well as final exam. So what are the rules and regulations? So of course, in order for us to set standard behavior in our class, let's have this set of rules as well as regulations. So for those who will choose online asynchronous classes or even those who choose modular, you may have these rules. First, be respectful. Always remember that respect begets respect. If you respect others, therefore others will also respect you. That is why we need to respect our classmates, not only our classmates, but including also our instructor. By simply having a proper courtesy like making use of Sir Mark. Good morning, Sir Mark. Thank you, Sir Mark. Salamat, Sir Mark. Ganon. And number 2, be aware of strong language, all caps and exclamation points. I know there are some students who are what? Hindi pa naka-move on sa pagka-judgemon. Okay, always remember that the text or the message that we tend to deliver to our classmates will give him or her impact based on how we type it. So, please bear that into your mind. Like for example, your road. Oh, umayos ka, patampot kita. Your road, Rodrigo Duterte. Good. This is just a meme, okay? Lingaw-lingaw ta. And of course, be careful with humor and sarcasm. Kasi siningnan ninyo yung classmate, kagwapo ni mo, oy. Nag-joke ka. Okay? So, iwasan natin, ha? Yes, grammar and spelling matter. As what I've said earlier, let's move on from pagka-judgemon. Let's practice proper use of spelling as well as making use of correct grammatical structure. Okay? And of course, for your research-based outputs, make use or cite your sources. How to cite your sources? You may search it on the internet. But if you already had, I know you, so most of you had your research way back when you were in your senior high school. You know already this in-text citation and reference list. So, please bear time to read those things. And don't post or share even privately inappropriate material. Okay? So of course, let's be mindful to the things that we share in our group chat or even in our GC. It should be relevant to the things that we are discussing. Don't abuse the chat box. Again, don't abuse the chat box. For example, the teacher will ask something. Then you also tend to what? Tend to reply daghan kaayo, which will what? Make the conversation long. So again, don't abuse the chat box. Oh please, dapat huwag manguyab sa chat box, no? Kung manguyab mo, please lang, i-DM na lang siya. Attempt to find your own answer. Because sometimes the questions that we opt to ask were already answered above. That is why, please spare time or have this culture of back reading. Dili, back riding ha. Back reading. Tuntun tag back read mga langga. Okay? Most especially to those students who were what? Panagsara maka-online. Please spare time to back read. Okay? And then, set a respectful tone. Make use of po and opo. Galangin natin yung teacher natin and also our classmates. Submit the files the right way. So, how to submit? First, greet the teacher. Good morning, Sir Mark. Then, introduce yourself. I am from. Always put your course and section because, you know what, alam nyo ba, 500 students ang handled ko ngayon. That is why always include your course as well as your section and of course your concern. Always remember that please read the instruction given to you because on each instruction I will be giving you the things on how you are going to name your file. And of course, be kind and professional. So sooner or later, you will be teachers. That is why first year padapat, you need to practice what? Professionalism. You need to be professional. Most especially in posting something on Facebook, in our group chat, because it will not reflect others, but it will reflect who you are. Okay? And also, please, may I request those students who were not able to change their name with their complete name, please i-change na. Because, let me share you this, na yung nag-add sa kuha, yung gi-add sa kuha nga Facebook name niya kay sa puso mo. Okay? So, do you think i-accept na ko siya? Of course not. So, make use of your full name. And of course, proper profile picture. Hindi yung sexy kaayo. And of course, yung maklaro pag yun na mga kamoto. And of course, to those students who choose modular learning, if you are able to watch this, always remember that modular learning, it is a self-directed learning. That is why you are responsible of your own learning. And of course, you are not allowed to contact me via social media or even post something in our group chat, which are what? About the activity, including also those who choose online. Please, no screenshots, no spreading of the things that we discussed, no spreading of links once ka masakpan ta mo. Okay? And of course, again, the modular learning approach, students should only contact me via text or call. So I prefer to what? Na manawag na lang mo. Because not all the time that I will have a load. Wala man ko ika-text. Baka naman. And now, let's have the requirements. Assessment task per chapter. Of course, each chapter I'll be giving you assessment task. And of course, detailed lesson plan. And demonstration, teaching. Don't worry, I will guide you along the way of course, making this journey a meaningful one. I know that some of you are quite adjusting pa, but always remember that we need to always be open for change. And of course, as a teacher, as your instructor, As your Sir Mark, I will guide you throughout your journey. Of course, you need to also know your limitations. Don't worry that along the way, I will always be here to give you advices and the like. So ay mong kaulaw, just chat me if you have problem, and it should be bugat nga problem ha, not financially o dili pod sa gugma. Ay, pwede din sa gugma. I can give also advices when it comes to love. Char. Okay. So, your questions, clarifications, you may comment below. And